Fawzi, or Falsey, I hope I've pronounced that correctly, mate, sorry. Can we talk about how biased Gary Neville is when commentating? He's so obnoxious to listen to when commentating for Sky Sports, calling out every Liverpool player for any mistake. I agree. And I think many Liverpool fans agree, mate. And there's been a few articles written about this. So, the Arsenal game on Sunday. Obviously, I watch the games in silence because I'm on here and I'm doing a watch-along. But apparently, when Liverpool scored their equaliser, the second one, there was silence from Neville. But when Saka scored the opening goal, he needed tissues. So, make that make sense. Like, sometimes I wonder why Sky subject us to it. Like, it's clear that Neville can't cover a Liverpool game without showing over-the-top bias against us. Not justified a lot of the time. He was calling our players simulators, divers and cheats a couple of weeks ago, when he's often lauded Harry Kane for the same stuff because, you know, that's clever and the dark arts. But Salah getting kicked from pillar to post one week to the next and not getting any calls from the referee, and Neville's wanting him hung, drawn and quartered here and thrown in front of a committee for diving. Like, it's pathetic. And he's capable of so much better as a pundit. Like, there's no denying Gary Neville's knowledge of football. And there's no denying the quality of the man's work when he's speaking subjectively and fairly about football. But when you bring United or Liverpool into the conversation with him, he's incapable of thinking with a clear mind. And that's grand if you're a fan or making fan content, but you're not. You're there, and he has the platform to influence millions of people, millions of young football fans around the world. And this narrative around Darwin, let's look at the last game as well, where Darwin didn't get a penalty and was kicked. And I said it at the time, this narrative from Neville and others, this lazy take on simulation and diving, does have a knock-on effect, and it does form a narrative around players. And I think Gary Neville needs to just tone it down with Liverpool, because I don't hear the same from Carragher on United. I don't. I think he is able to credit them for some good stuff. But Neville is just... he's not very easy to sit through if you're a Liverpool fan. And, you know, I say that with the greatest of respect for the man, because I do believe he's capable of wonderful punditry. But he does my fucking head in. Did you hear him when Saka scored the first goal? And it was a good goal. Saka took it really well. But the way Neville was celebrating it, it was telling. I don't know when he just developed this soft spot for Arsenal, but the club that he went head to head with every season for league titles are all of a sudden now his second favourite team by the sounds of it. It's weird. Paul said, you say that about Gary Neville, but we have to listen to Souness. I've called out Souness, Paul. I've called out Graham Souness many times on here for nonsense. And you don't really have to listen to him anymore because he's not on Sky anymore. But I get where you're coming from. Absolutely. I'm not saying that... like, this isn't a whataboutery situation, mate. Like, I'm just giving you my take on Gary Neville. If you want to get into the greater conversation around punditry and is there any Liverpool biases, I'm sure that there are. And Souness did have some very harsh takes, especially around Pogba. He wants so bad to be a fan of a successful club, said Mart. Just don't let Neville commentate on our games, said Fawzi. Yeah, I think that's what a lot of Liverpool fans would want. Because we thought we were lucky we got rid of Martin Tyler. And then we got Neville in. And now we have to listen to Neville. Now, Peter Drury, top notch. Could listen to Peter Drury all day. Fantastic. One of the best commentators in the game. Anthony said, I just wonder what he would say if we won the Premier League and the Champions League. I'm sure he'd find some way of talking about how it was an easy season, or somebody else wasn't at their best and Liverpool capitalised on that and some rubbish like that. He'd say we didn't face any tough opponents yet. Yeah, after playing 38 games, you're right, he probably will come out with something like that. It still makes me laugh though that he said that Solanke was going to be I think it was him or Carragher, said Solanke's going to be the biggest difference maker this season, or the signing with the most impact in the Premier League. And then he goes on to say where he thinks Spurs are going to finish. And the signing that's going to have the biggest impact of all the business in the Premier League was going to make Spurs somehow finish worse than the season before in Gary Neville's predictions. No joined up thinking there. So he's going to come in, he's going to be the best signing of the whole summer with the biggest impact on his club. Here we're going to go backwards from the season before. Gotcha. How much you paid again?